Hello, I'm Ken Eklund, Director for Technology for Moore County Schools. I'd like to present to you today information about our digital learning sustainability plan, our challenges and need, and what we need to maintain digital learning here in Moore County Schools. Our funding sources related to digital learning for fiscal year 20 are primarily our County Digital Learning Fund. Our fiscal year 20 request is for $900,000. That in the digital fund. That's to refresh student and teacher devices. That's an increase from the $750,000 we received in fiscal year 19. We also have state funding sources that are related to digital learning but aren't directly used for student and teacher devices. That's $94,000 in PRC 079, which is actually used for our Moore County Schools portion of our WAN costs. That's the connectivity between the schools. Approximately $175,000 in PRC 015. That's fines and forfeitures money. That's an estimated number, and because it is estimated, we generally use it for general technology needs. And $87,000 in our ESSA Title IV funds. Those are targeted to specific programs, such as the student hotspots, our bus Wi-Fi, and communication systems. We presented this information to you and the board before. Updates from our previous presentation are that needed teacher devices updates have been delayed because we've only received $750,000 in our digital learning fund. We have not had any requested increases in recent years. We've had to delay some significant requirements for our teachers. For instance, our Area 3, 6 through 12 teachers are over 2 years overdue for their refresh. We've also done a significant inventory of the technology that is in our current K-5 schools. It's clarified our need for our equity of technology access throughout the district. Our fiscal year 20 request represents a focused approach to not only minimize cost, but also address this equity need. Our K-5 schools are also clamoring for digital learning support. We have a media and tech assistant need to cover our technology tasks. This would free our certified media specialist to meet their instructional need. They are highly qualified instructional staff that need the time to work with students. We also need further digital integration facilitator support for digital learning and our STEM coaching for school teaching staff in the elementary schools. As you're all aware, digital learning is here now. North Carolina, in their Session Law 2013-12 and House Bill 44, said that it is the intent of the General Assembly to transition from funding for textbooks, both traditional and digital, to funding for digital materials, including textbooks and instructional resources, to provide educational resources that remain current, aligned with curriculum, and effective for all learners by 2017. Moore County Schools has made a significant investment in digital learning and seen much success. We need additional funding to make sure that we can continue that success. Our technology use is integrated in both instruction and assessment at all grade levels. You'll find that students in the lower grades are now doing assessment and significant work with technology. We meet this need through our devices, our infrastructure, our base content, and our staff to implement and support. We're focusing here on the Digital Learning Fund, which supports our devices and also some of the staffing needs. We have, with our devices, both challenge and needs. Our need is that there's access to technology for all students and that there is functioning technology for our teachers. Digital learning cannot happen without the devices. These are what we use to access our base content and curriculum, both for students and for teachers. Our devices are also used for formative and summative assessments in grades K through 5 now. And our Area 3, 6 through 12 teachers are using systems that are 5 to 7 years old. The challenges that we're facing are inequity of access and, as we've stated, the end of life. Our K-5 students need access to functioning current hardware, and that varies widely across the district. We have up to a 3-fold difference in our device-to-student ratios across schools. Different schools, depending on their funding sources, have been able to provide additional technology to their students. That's left other schools that do not have those local funding sources behind. Our end-of-life devices cannot run updated apps or access current content. And end-of-life devices can also be a physical and fire hazard. You may be able to see in the slide an iPad that it's an iPad 2, which is already end of life, and because of its age, the batteries have blown up and actually broken the screen on the device. Our requests for the Digital Learning Fund for fiscal year 20 break down as follows. The income for the Digital Learning Fund that we project for fiscal year 20 is a balance of approximately $165,000. Our needed county allotment for our total needs is $900,000. As you can see on the slide, the current fiscal year 2019 allotment was $750,000, and we're requesting an additional allotment of $150,000 to meet this need. We have current operating leases for student devices and teacher devices that are listed under the obligated expense. That's the Area 1 and 2 6 through 12 student Chromebooks of $396,000. Our 6th and 9th grade Chromebook bags that we have to refresh every year as the students cycle through the schools of $34,000. Our current leases for Area 1 and 2 6 through 12 teacher laptops, which we have been able to refresh, $61,000. And our Area 3 grade 6 through 12 student Chromebooks of $264,000. Should we get the funding we need, the other things that we can address are under the proposed expense. Those are the 3 to 5 grade digital learning devices. And again, based on our focused look at the inventory and taking the schools to where that they have equity between all the schools, our requested need is $120,000. A refresh of the K-5 teacher laptops, which has been refreshed in the last 3 years, but those devices are also approaching end of life. Devices for grade 6 through 12 increased enrollment. We found that students have actually come back to the district and caused a greater device need in our middle and high schools. And those are $32,000. And the Area 3 6 through 12 teacher laptop refresh of $45,000. With all this funding need and the proposed expenses, our balance at the end of fiscal year 20 in the Digital Learning Fund would be $25,000. This is part of our overall digital sustainability plan. This has been an important focus for the district to make sure that we not only obtain the technology that we need, we also have a plan to maintain it into the future. So you can see over the next 5 years, with our steady increases in the digital learning allotment, we're able to maintain a positive balance in the Digital Learning Fund. In fiscal year 20, our request would be $900,000 for the allotment, a total of $1,006,000 in lease payments, $34,000 for other expenses, leaving us a balance of $25,000. Our funding request would increase another $150,000 in fiscal year 21, again, which would leave us with a positive balance of $3,744. In fiscal year 22, we would reach our full sustainability funding request of $1.2 million, which would leave us with a significant balance of $177,000. As you see, once we reach that sustainable allotment amount, we can actually build balance in the Digital Learning Fund for other needs, other contingencies, and to continue to properly maintain all our digital learning in the district. We also have staffing needs related to digital learning. As I've said, our K through 5 schools are clamoring for additional digital integration facilitator support. This request for fiscal year 20 is part of our long-term staffing plan of 3 additional DIF positions by fiscal year 2022. An additional digital integration facilitator in this next year will support the continued growth of STEM education in grades 3 through 5 and 6 through 8th grades, providing needed staff professional development. This additional DIF will also support our $475,000 in digital learning grants. And I will note that Moore County Schools is the only district that received both the Showcase and the Innovation Academy grants offered by the state. This will focus on increasing engaged K through 12 instruction that embeds the 4 C's of critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. This yearly budget need is approximately $65,000, and this is included in our finance department staffing priorities. We're also looking for an additional media and tech assistant position, growing to 4 additional total by fiscal year 23. Again, this would support multiple schools with inventory and device management tasks and would free our certified instructional media specialists to concentrate on student teaching. This yearly budget need is approximately $35,000, and again, this is included in our finance department staffing priorities. Thank you. I hope this provides the information needed on what we need to reach sustainability for our digital learning funds to continue the digital learning success that's happening here in Moore County Schools.